So then California. Then what happened after California?
California. I came back home to
Where was home?
Jersey. It was a funny story. I hitched a ride with a hippie from California to Jersey, and we followed Phish. We saw several concerts. You know the Phish, the
Phish,
band?
yeah, the band.
And the whole time we were smoking weed and doing mushrooms. The whole trip from California.
Who was driving?
We both were. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
The
taking
weed
turns.
and the mushrooms were driving.
Well, you would do mushrooms at the concert.
But what about after the concert?
They
You
were
just
wore
smoke
off
weed to like sober up.
to sober up. That's the best
so you
way to
drove
sober
with
up.
him to New Jersey.
Yes, and it took us close to 2 weeks. We were following Fish around, and I got dropped off, and I had a couple of weeks to think about what I was going to do with my life. I went to real estate school. I got licensed in New York and New Jersey. I went to work for a company called YHD, Your Home Direct. It was an internet-based real estate company, home of the 2% commission,
Hmm.
or yeah, 2% or 3%, something like that. And
That was their sales pitch. Home of the 2% commission.
yeah, exactly. It was the homeowner would show the home. We weren't listed in the MLS. We were listed in our own site and sell the home. And I used to drive around in a PT Cruiser, purple PT Cruiser.
How'd you fit in there?
It's a PT Cruiser, man. It's a comfortable ride. The shittiest car ever built after the Neon, but you know. And shortly after that, that was right around 9/11.
So we're talking at this time you were about 25, 28,
2001, 26.
26.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, my fucked up days it was 20 to 25.
So let me ask you
It was
about the
5 years.
fucked up days. You know, you smoked that much weed and did all this mushrooms. All that costs money. How did you get the money? Or I mean, if you want to talk about it, you can. Jesus Christ, the plot thickens.
Entrepreneurship, baby. Entrepreneurship.
So, so your days
But listen,
of entrepreneurship started.
Even in high school, you know what I used to do in high school
Huh?
for money? I was the only person. I was the only man, the only kid in high school that had a car since I was in ninth grade, and I was the only. I think This was 92, 90, yeah, 91, 92. I had a cell phone. I had a Motorola flip phone with a slim battery. So, Papa, I was cutting edge. And I used to. People didn't have cell phones back then. It was all pagers. And I used to drive around on it. I made a deal with a guy named Weaver from Weaver Towing, and every time I found somebody broken down on the side of the road, I would call him I would pull up. Hey, do you need assistance? By the way, I used to carry gas. I used to carry a jack. I used to carry patches and plugs for repair for patching tires, and tools. If somebody needed a radiator hose or something, I would fix it right on the side of the highway. And if they needed to be towed, then I would get $20 from Weaver Towing for every call that I made. I used to make like $150 a day just in a couple of hours.
And that's we're talking about in the 90s.
Yeah, man.
$120 a day for for a 15, 16, 17 year.
17-year-old kid.
That's
Hell
like
yeah.
350 now.
Talk about, dude, I used to eat McDonald's every day, baby.
Every day.
Even large. Yeah.
2 Big Mac meals. Fuck it.
That's what I'm talking about. You
So,
know, you don't get this big on fucking.
I hope everybody's like catching on. Like, you know, we talked to Matt yesterday and he had the same thing going on, like the entrepreneurship thing going on when he was young. You were doing the same thing when you were younger.
I haven't really worked for anybody besides the real estate gig, and you're kind of like a self-employed, and then the United States Navy, and then I worked for a car rental company, a couple of car rental companies, and then that was it. I haven't really worked for anybody since then.
So let's fast forward back to the real estate. So you were doing the real estate. How long did you do that for?
3 years.
And I'm sure you were successful at that. give
I
or
had to
take.
get a part-time job renting cars. That's where I met my wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. But then shortly after that, I opened up a repair shop. It was called BP Quick Loop. It was a BP gas station. We had a Quick Loop in there, and yeah, and I ran that place, made it very successful, sold it in 2006, and moved to Florida because I got tired of shoveling snow. Yeah.
So in
A real
2006,
story, man. We came out here in 2005 on vacation to meet my future wife's mother, and the weather up here was unbelievable. It was amazing weather. I came in the fall. I think it was great weather. You know, we were cold over there. Here, everybody's on tank tops and flip flops. It was like, what the fuck we doing over there? Let's come down here. And the following summer we moved, and it was a bittersweet reality. When I walked out of the house at 7 a.m. in the morning, and I started sweating like I've never sweat before. It was ridiculous how hot it was, and you know,
People don't.
once you got good AC, you'll be okay.
I
Right?
feel like some people don't understand when we tell them that the Florida heat is different.
It's the humidity. That's what everybody says. It's the humidity.
It's
Yeah,
different.
and it's also the bugs and the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And you're sticky. And it's,
no, the Florida heat is a little bit different. When I was in not Arkansas, but state close to
Aussie
Anyway.
Titan. You see that big dog on the right?
I already did.
There you go. So it doesn't keep falling on you.
I was in Arizona. We took a trip to Arizona during summer, and at that time there was 110 degrees heat, and they were coming out and saying, "Hey, listen, watch out for the heat." But while we were in Arizona walking around, it was hot. You could tell it was hot. It was more of like, you know, when you open the oven, you get that heat that hits you. It was that type of a heat, but you weren't really sweating. Like it almost like you would sweat and your sweat would just immediately evaporate. It was just so dry. The weather conditions were so dry that you were not really sweating, right? So heat in Florida is a little bit different. I do agree with that. But yeah, it's nonetheless it's super hot. A lot of people don't get it, and they're like, "Well, my bones hurt up north." Listen, the minute you come down here, your blood is thick. Like there's gonna be an acclimation process throughout that. So you moved to Florida, and then what?
I got a house in Riverview, couple of acres, and I started hustling cars. Just buying cars, Tampa Machinery Auction, from Craigslist ads, that was in 2006. Craigslist was still around. And
We still use Craigslist now.
Yeah, but no
Sorry?
one uses it though. You know.
No,
what I
no.
mean?
My
Yeah.
brother uses
Yeah.
it.
yeah,
People still use it a lot. Yeah.
who?
My brother
People
to find birds.
and what's
To
his
find
face?
what?
Birds.
Oh, I
Randy
get it.
still uses it to post ads for working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my brother does.
I
too,
bought
but-
Nala on there only 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not what it used to be. Because back in the day, you wanted to buy something secondhand. That was Craigslist. Right now,
Yeah.
it's Facebook
Craigslist
Marketplace.
Killed, if you think about it, it killed the newspaper ads.
It did.
Yeah.
So talking about this, so when I was graduating in Lithuania, you had to take 12th grade final exams, right? And one of the exams was a mandatory second language. And I chose English. It is what it is. And the subject I chose was about CDs, right? And back then I said, listen, CDs are gonna be the future. The next couple of years, books are gonna go on CDs, music is gonna go on CDs, and stuff like that. My teacher that reviewed my essay laughed at me because they thought that I'm like
this like never going out of
yeah
style.
yeah they laughed at me by saying like this is never gonna happen, like you watch too many futuristic movies. Fast forward now,
I got
where are
my
the
Sony-
newspapers?
I got my
No
Sony
one-
mini disc. That's the future.
yeah
Now
so
we're even past CDs though. Like I mean, I know people still use them, but barely. Like most laptops
Your
nowadays
brother
don't
uses
even
it,
come
right?
with
Listen, let me tell you about the CDs. So my aunt at that
You-
time was already in United States.
You'll be believed by the amount of people who still use CDs. Though.
Yeah, they do.
No, I know,
They do.
but
So my aunt was in,
Hold on. Let
Go
me
ahead.
get this jam. I got this song. Just hold on.
Yeah.
I got you.
yeah,
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 yeah.
You gotta
everybody
hear
has
this song.
yeah. So my aunt was still in the United States. We're still in Lithuania. When she came to visit us, she as a present she brought over a Sony Walkman CD player. Yeah,
Expander.
yeah. So, and the cool part about this Sony Walkman was it was the updated version which had an anti-skip on it. So when that thing was turned on, it would use a little more batteries, but it would not skip as you played the music. So I was the coolest kid because, like, you know, I could just like do whatever with it, and it would still keep playing, you know.
You
So
used to carry your car radio when you got out of the car. You remember those days?
yes, yes. So that was really big in Lithuania. Again, a lot of people would break the window and take the car stereos
I
out.
used to
So
walk around with your radio like it's a purse. Hey.
yeah, so they would all actually use. They would prefer using those car stereos that you can fully pull out, not just the face, but
whole deck.
actually the whole deck. You would pull out the whole deck, bring it home, and then
It gotta be a pull out, baby.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah. So I've been through that. But one of the very first like music tapes I've ever owned was Guns N' Roses and Metallica. They were the two.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's how I was introduced to music, right? The
My
the
first
cassette
car,
tapes.
my first car was 1979 Toyota Celica that had an 8-track, and the only thing I could listen to was this 8-track tape that I bought at Salvation Army, Kenny Rogers, you know, and I can sing. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. With 4 hungry children and crops in the field. I had some bad times, lived through some sad times, but this time the hurting won't heal. You picked a fine time.
Oh
to leave
shit!
me,
Bring it over
Lucille.
here. Bring it.
You know what I just noticed, Ozzy? You have the headphones on backwards.
Oh really?
All right, guys. So this
they're flipped.
Walkman made it from United States to Lithuania and then back. This is that. So I'm gonna show this to all of you that never seen one, right? So you would just pop this open, and then you would put your CD here. You would close it, obviously, and then you had your controls. And in the back here, you had 2 batteries, right? 2 AA batteries. You would just play that,
Was that
and
cocaine?
I got you right.
and then
You asked for it strong, bro.
and then you know that extra button I was talking about. It was on the side. It said extra anti-shock on off.
Why do you have that still?
Hey, I brought it with me, man.
By the way, this is a Panasonic.
Yeah, Panasonic. It is what it is. It
It's
doesn't
not an
matter.
actual Walkman.
Yeah,
No,
who
it's not a
cares?
Walkman.
But the point
It
is
is
that
a disc player. Ugh.
anti-shock. Yeah. So because that's as a kid, as a young kid, that was something that like expensive that I owned. What do you think I was gonna leave it in Lithuania, bro?
Why
I
would
took
a
this to.
feature about the whole anti-shock be like? Why would you want it on or off? Wouldn't that
Well,
be
because
something
what
you just
happens
want
when you
on all the
shake
time?
it, because the way CDs work,
But
you
you see what I'm saying, right? Why would you want this feature to be on or off?
To save battery.
no. The
I don't know.
anti-shock. So when the CD's on top, why would you want it off? Because it chews batteries. When the anti-shock is on,
Yeah, Ozzy answered the question.
yeah, it chews batteries. Yeah, yeah. That's why I said in the beginning it uses more batteries. Yeah.
Batarashis.
Beach.